Ah, love. The kind that makes your heart swell, your smile stretch a little wider, and maybe even your eyes well up with emotion. If you're a fan of heartwarming, beautifully simple stories that show the depth of love, then Guess How Much I Love You by Sam McBratney is about to steal your heart. This isn't just any tale about love. This is a story that takes a little journey through the meadow, plays with words, and leaves you with a feeling of warmth that will linger long after you finish reading it. So, sit back, relax, and let me walk you through this beautiful little story of Big Nutbrown Hare and Little Nutbrown Hare, who find the most adorable ways to show each other just how much they love each other. The beginning, a love that's bigger than the sky. Imagine a peaceful, quiet meadow, the sun setting in the sky, and two little hares sitting side by side. One of them is Big Nutbrown Hare, the larger of the two, and the other is Little Nutbrown Hare, who is tiny and full of innocent wonder. The world seems vast, but these two hares, though different in size, are united by one thing: their love for each other. Big Nutbrown Hare is the kind of character that exudes love in everything he does. He's patient, gentle, and constantly trying to show Little Nutbrown Hare how much he cares. Little Nutbrown Hare, on the other hand, is a bit more cheeky, always finding new ways to challenge Big Nutbrown Hare to prove just how much he loves him back. Their little game of Guess How Much I Love You begins with such a sweet, innocent premise, and I can already feel the tug at my heartstrings. The first Guess How Much moment, stretching the love. It all starts with Little Nutbrown Hare's declaration, "I love you right up to the moon." A beautiful sentiment, right? But Big Nutbrown Hare, in his wise and loving way, looks at Little Nutbrown Hare and says, "I love you right up to the moon and back." And just like that, we're in for a playful back and forth of love, one that shows just how much these two hares care for each other in the most simple and yet profound ways. But as Little Nutbrown Hare is quick to point out, the moon is really far away. So he stretches his arms wide, saying, "I love you this much." And let me tell you, the picture of him with his arms spread as wide as they can go is enough to make even the toughest heart melt. Big Nutbrown Hare's response: he stretches his arms out even wider, his love reaching even further. It's a love so big, it feels as if it could wrap around the whole world. But it doesn't stop there. Little Nutbrown Hare, never one to back down, tries to top Big Nutbrown Hare's love by claiming he loves him as high as he can hop. And guess what? Big Nutbrown Hare hops higher. Each attempt by Little Nutbrown Hare to express his love gets a little bit bigger, a little more imaginative, and a whole lot more adorable. It's as if the two are in a constant game of one-upmanship, but in the sweetest, most innocent way. The playful competition, love without limits. As their back and forth continues, the story reminds me of those moments in life where we find ourselves in playful competitions with the ones we love. It's not about winning. It's about the fun of it, the joy of being with someone who knows us so well that we can be our true selves. This story captures that feeling perfectly. It's not just about saying, "I love you" in big, grand gestures. It's about the little, everyday moments where we show our love in ways that only we can understand. The way Little Nutbrown Hare imagines different ways to measure his love, from hopping to stretching, is charming in its simplicity. It's a reminder of how love can be expressed in many forms, sometimes in ways that seem small or silly, but still carry a great deal of meaning. Love isn't always about big, flashy declarations. Sometimes it's just about showing up and being there for someone in the little moments. The moon, a symbol of infinite love. Now, let's talk about the moon. The moon in this story is more than just a distant celestial body. It becomes a symbol of the immeasurable, infinite nature of love. Little Nutbrown Hare starts by saying he loves Big Nutbrown Hare to the moon, a simple statement that already feels so full of depth. But when Big Nutbrown Hare responds by saying he loves Little Nutbrown Hare to the moon and back, that's where the magic happens. It's as if Big Nutbrown Hare is telling Little Nutbrown Hare that his love knows no bounds. It's a love that can reach places far beyond what is visible, a love that stretches beyond distance and time. And when you think about it, what's more beautiful than that? It's a love that doesn't stop at the edge of the horizon or at the limits of what we can see. It keeps going, expanding, never-ending. The moon is, in a sense, a perfect metaphor for love. It's constant. It's always there, even when we don't see it. It's bright and shining, even when the night seems dark. And it's a love that transcends the physical, like the love big Nutbrown Hare feels for little Nutbrown Hare. The ending, a love that's always there. As the story draws to a close, I find myself smiling softly at the way it ends. Little Nutbrown Hare, in his most sincere way, says, "I love you right up to the moon and back." And big Nutbrown Hare, with a twinkle in his eye, replies, "I love you right up to the moon and back. And I'll always love you, no matter what." It's a simple ending, but it carries such weight. It's a promise that love, no matter how far it stretches or how high it reaches, will always be there. Even when they can't physically be together, the love between big Nutbrown Hare and little Nutbrown Hare will remain constant, just like the moon in the sky. This closing moment reminds us of something we all need to hear sometimes. Love doesn't fade. It doesn't stop. It doesn't have an expiration date. It's always there, even when we can't see it. It's the kind of love that wraps us up in warmth and comfort. The kind of love that says, "I'm here for you. I'll always be here for you." The heart of the story, what makes it so special? So, what makes Guess How Much I Love You so special? Well, I think it's the way it captures the essence of love in such a simple, yet profound way. It's a story that doesn't need big, flashy moments or dramatic twists. Instead, it tells a timeless tale of two characters who love each other in the most honest and pure way possible. And let's not forget about the illustrations by Anita Jerem. They're soft, gentle, and perfectly complement the tone of the story. The delicate, almost watercolor-like drawings bring the characters to life, making them feel warm and tangible. You can almost feel the softness of the hare's fur and the peace of the meadow they inhabit. The art, much like the story, evokes a sense of calm and love that resonates deeply. The simplicity of the story is what makes it so powerful. It reminds us that love doesn't have to be complicated. It's the little things, the simple gestures, and the moments where we just show up for each other that truly matter. And that's something we can all relate to. Final thoughts. A love that lasts forever. In conclusion, Guess How Much I Love You is a beautiful, heartwarming story that will touch anyone who reads it. It's not just a children's book. It's a story for anyone who believes in the power of love and the importance of showing that love, no matter how big or small. Whether you're a parent reading it to your child or an adult revisiting a beloved tale, this story has a way of reminding you just how much love truly means. And let's face it, if big Nutbrown Hare and little Nutbrown Hare can find so many ways to express their love for each other, then surely we can do the same in our own lives. So, next time you find yourself wondering just how much you love someone, remember this story and maybe, just maybe, you'll come up with a love that's even bigger than the moon. After all, love is infinite. It's always there, even when we can't see it. Just like the moon. Stay tuned for more enlightening content. Head over to www.mybooksummary.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share the magic with friends. And let's grow together through the power of books and interesting stories.